Hey, this is Movie Date with Jess and Kait. I'm Kait.
And I'm Jess.
And I'm Rekha.
Yeah.
That's right. We have another third on our date.
And a fourth.
And of
Yeah.
course, Poppy is here as well.
Jess and I are a couple who like watching movies and talking about them and recapping them, but thinking about them. And this month we're going to do all horror movies. And today we watched Beetlejuice. And Rekha, you picked
I picked.
this movie. What made you pick Beetlejuice?
I've never seen Beetlejuice until now.
You hadn't seen many movies up until these last couple of years of your life.
Until moving to Los Angeles, I hadn't seen a lot of movies. So now I'm really playing catch up. Beetlejuice was one that was like on the list, but you know, now it's October. I'm now a really huge fan of Halloween. Living in New York made me hate Halloween, and now I really love it again.
Is it just too much of a commotion? Or?
New York Halloween is horrible.
Okay.
I understand why I hated it. I grew up loving it. Lost my love in New York and was like, it'll never happen again.
Because it was just like the freaks come out at night.
The freaks are out.
Yeah.
They can't get anywhere. Everyone's drunk.
Yeah.
It's like so loud and annoying and unpleasant. People are being like rowdy on the subway in a way that like I never care.
Yeah.
And that on Halloween, I'm like, is someone gonna like fight?
Yeah.
Like something gonna happen. But then moving back to like a more quaint and quiet area, moving to LA, I love Halloween again.
Oh, yeah. Well, I know horror movies specifically.
Oh,
you
yeah.
even had an old college humor sketch where you talked about not really liking horror
Absolutely,
movies.
because I don't like being scared. But I'm opening up to it now.
Yeah.
It's taken a long time.
Do you find that they do scare you? Horror movies scare you now?
They do, but I'm more open to it. Like,
Okay.
I'm not blanketing all horror movies are bad. I now understand horror comedy as a genre, and I like them.
Okay, cool.
I saw a Nicolas Cage horror comedy the other day, and I liked
What was it? The Renfield?
Mom and Dad. It's
Oh.
I bet you they don't classify it as a comedy.
Okay.
I do.
Those
It
are
was
the
stupid.
most fun.
Yeah, it was pretty stupid.
But yeah, so Beetlejuice you picked.
I picked it because I know it's supposed to be an iconic classic. I know it's supposed to be campy and it's not like horror. It's actually it's the kids watch it and shit. And you know, I love to check stuff off a list. So I was like, I gotta see it. It's spooky season.
Oh yeah. Well, let's get into it. So we are going to recap the movie. Starring in it, we have Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice, Catherine O'Hara is Delia, Winona Ryder is Lydia. We have Glenn Shaddix, is that how you say his name? As Otho.
Yeah.
Alec Baldwin as Adam, Gina Davis as Barbara. And then I didn't write the dad's name because he's like a creepster now and I don't even want to give him attention.
He was like found with pictures of like little
awful stuff.
The principal from Ferris Bueller?
Yeah. Yes. And like the way they deal with him in the new movie, like they
spoilers for
show his
He's still alive?
No, he's not in it, but they'll like
alive,
show his face. They'll like reference him.
Yeah. They do reference him a lot in the sequel.
This is exactly what I'm saying. We were so obsessed with Winona Ryder shoplifting, and now the bar is so in hell because celebrities are doing awful things. I'm like, everyone should shoplift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed. You heard
that
it
anywhere.
If it's from a big company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not going to mom.
This came out in 1988. It was directed by Tim Burton. And the music, I must mention, is by Danny Elfman. Also on the list of being a creepster these days. But the music is incredible in this and all the movies.
I didn't want to tell you how many creeps are involved in the film.
What's wrong with these older men?
Yeah. Anyways.
Something's in the water.
Yeah.
So we open with kind of like a very soft day. And we have like the classic kind of Danny Elfman, creepy, kind of like
circusy honks and squonks.
Yeah, score over the credits.
Yeah.
We
What do
are
you think about
flying.
That? You know, I gotta say, the honks and squonks made me think, kids movie.
Yeah.
Like it immediately takes out of anything, even like just spooky camp adult.
It's a
like
little nefarious.
Yes.
It's a little bit scary.
Across the board always makes stuff that's like half or a foot in the door, like for kids, but he doesn't like talk down to kids.
Yeah,
it's not like it's still allowed to be a little scary and spooky and not just like everything's great and you know.
Yes.
Which I appreciate. Like that's like in Pee-wee or in Nightmare Before Christmas. Even though he didn't direct that, he created those characters.
Have you seen any of his other movies? Sorry,
I've only seen Nightmare Before Christmas. He created the characters. Okay. Did he do Corpse Bride, or was that another thing where he owned the characters? Okay, and then I've seen Over Scissorhands.
Yeah.
Oh
I've seen that.
Okay, so you've
And
seen a good amount of his movies.
yeah, maybe. I'm
Which
trying to
that
think if
I
there's
think
another
it
one.
reminds me a lot of this one as
Yes,
far as like
the tone.
yeah, and
Yeah,
like the way the kind of satirical way that certain types of people are portrayed.
totally,
Yeah.
totally.
So we're going kind of like an aerial shot over a wooded area, very like upstate New York vibe. These cute little white houses we see. There's like a church and a little hardware store, a graveyard. We're like following this winding road that leads up to this like house up on a hill. And it kind of is like farmhouse, Victorian, Gothic, like all in one. And that feels very like Edward Scissorhandsy too, like the
Mhm.
Yeah.
house up on the hill where
Yeah.
everything's like going to be taking place. A giant spider crawls over the house and a hand picks it up. We realize we're not actually like in a aerial shot over a town. We're in a model, and Adam, played by Alec Baldwin, looks at the spider up close, goes over to the window, and this is supposed to establish him as like, I'm very kind, yeah, with
He's like
animals.
so gentle, and then he's like, woo! As if it's like a butterfly.
Adam, this has got to be at least 5-story house. Like this spider.
Spiders are fine.
And this is a heavy
so
guy.
little. Their mass is really small.
You think
That's a heavier guy.
Yeah,
That's my
guess.
thought.
Spider-Man style, like shoot a web and
That's what the powers are from. A spider.
Yeah.
That's how they.
Okay. His wife Barbara, played by Gina Davis, comes up and gives him some little stuff for his model that he's working
Honey, I
on.
have your oils.
I have your oils. And they are just so freaking cute together. You said a great thing while we were watching it.
Oh, did she look like she was a milk churner?
Oh,
Or
She's
butter
dressed
churner?
like a butter churner.
Alec Baldwin as well.
Oh, yes. I've never once thought he was handsome, whatever. But that like dad inventor type that was such a prototype in the 80s of like the guy with like the really thick moppy hair and the collared shirt who's tinkering in his attic or
Yeah.
basement
Oh, yeah.
somewhere above or below where people
Tommy
everyone else
Pickles'
is.
dad.
Hot. Rick Moranis hot.
Yes, yeah.
You
If
know?
you're tinkering with your little model, you don't have time to be a creep.
Yeah.
Exactly. We know those dads. Stay put and stay
Yeah.
right.
Detail oriented.
Yeah,
I agree. I mean, I would go so far to say he's usually disgusts me,
Yes,
but in this,
yes.
especially I think
Very
with her,
charming.
they're just so cute
Yeah.
together, and that's exactly what we see. They're like kissing on each other. They're just a really sweet, loving couple. Oh, they're running around their farmhouse, and Gina Davis is down in the kitchen, and a neighbor shows up, Jane, who we realize is their realtor, and she is trying to get them to sell this house. Like it could be worth way, way more than what it is. They'd make a bunch of money, and it kind of comes out the house is too big for you two alone.
Yeah, Jane comes in hard with a comment on their fertility as a
Yeah.
couple.
Which is a realtor's right.
Yeah. As she should.
As she should. Gina Davis kind of like kicks her out. Alec Baldwin is down in, or I should use their movie names. Adam's down in the basement doing some more tinkering. And he opens up a window and we see Jane is like there and like, come on, sell your house.
Yeah.
And like clearly neither of them want to do this. They're like trying to get rid of her. He's realizing that he needs something from the store. So he like tells her and they both decide to go into town. And they have like such a cute little yellow car. What is
Yeah.
that, like a Subaru?
I don't know.
I don't
It's cute
know.
though.
It is
Hey,
very cute.
Get me one.
Get
Just
me one of
everything
that.
about them is like, even though this is 88, we were saying like kind of like the 50s. They're like a little antiquated.
Yes, and they're very like, we're not about money, we're about fun. We're
Yeah.
about loving our lives. So
Mhm.
like, no, Jane, we're not selling the house. Yes, we're gonna keep our antiquated appliances because we like them.
Yeah, we learned that they're on a 2-week vacation, but they're staying at home.
Yes.
And he's like, oh, maybe we should have gone to Jamaica or something. But they like just love being little homebodies
Yeah.
with their little like
They love their
cleaning
house.
and yeah, and they love their house.
And it's very fitting that Poppy's here for the next moment because someone she probably knows is a villain.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're gonna ask Poppy about this moment coming up.
Yeah.
He stops into town. Everybody in town knows them.
Yeah.
There's a really cute bit where like an old man's telling a story. Adam leaves. The old man's still telling the story. He comes back. He's and you realize that that's their hardware store.
Yeah, the
that they
Maitlands
stop at,
hardware.
which I never realized before.
Yeah.
So he's grabbing stuff. They get back in the car. They go over this like little bridge, which we saw in that opening as well when we had the winding road, kind of like a Sleepy Hollow style, like covered bridge.
Yeah.
So there's a little doggy walking like up to the bridge. The car's going. They notice the dog, so they do a quick
Swerve.
slam into the wall of the covered bridge, and they're kind of like teetering back and forth.
And this dog, who's probably 12 pounds, is the only thing keeping the other side of that teeter-totter from totally
Yeah, there's like
them.
a plank that then he's teeter-tottering on.
And Adam looks back like, please.
This dog must be the densest, like, neutron star of a dog to be that much weight. It's Sassy. It's my roommate's dog, Sassy, who's 60 pounds of entirely muscle.
Yeah.
Because the dog gets off the plank and then.
Yeah, Rekha went, did they die?
I was like,
they die?
You should know. I don't know a single thing about this movie going on.
So fun watching it.
It was really fun because so many things seem iconic to me where I'm like, oh, sure, she hasn't seen it, but she must know this scene. Yeah. So we'll see many times, especially if you are familiar with the movie, things that come up. So they fall in. We cut to back at their house. It seems like it's nighttime. They walk in and you can see like little puddles coming from them. So it seems like they lived and everything's okay. Credits roll.
And then I was like, movies ended.
Movies ended. Wow.
Beetlejuice is so weird.
Glad I saw this one. They go over the fireplace to warm up, and Barbara notices that her hand kind of gets set ablaze. Yeah. And they're like, what the fuck?
She's like, we didn't have this fire lit when we left.
And they already seem in a daze, like when they're coming in, and they're like, do you even remember how we got here? They want to like retrace the steps back to the bridge. Adam goes to leave and he falls into this like sandy, very like Dune, I'm sure kind of was the big reference.
Well, it's supposed to be a moon of Saturn.
We learn, you could see a big green planet and then like another tinier little moon in the distance and almost like these like arches, but without any other mountains attached.
And I'll say that shocked me.
Yeah, I bet. It's so random.
Sometimes when I watch these movies that people have talked about forever, I go, this is that movie.
Yeah.
This is what everyone's talking about. Yeah. And it wasn't in a derogatory. It was just like, Beetlejuice has like a sandworm.
A door that falls into a sandworm.
Because it's so completely weird and seems such a non sequitur, maybe.
It's so shocking.
As a kid, that world was so scary. And I was like, please do not go through that door again.
Yeah.
I guess it's just to show like there's no...
Oh yeah, it's a plot design. Yeah, device. Like, they have to stay there,
but like in an interesting way.
It's a great way to be like you can't leave, but just to show it so physically and fun, which is what I think Tim Burton does best.
Yeah, I saw this thing about the original script that it was a lot darker and the tone was darker. It wasn't really as much of a comedy, and like their car crash is way more like violent, and like her arm gets crushed, and that's why they still have in the script like, oh, my arm is freezing, like, you know.
Yeah.
And then this like open door to another world, instead of this like moon of Saturn, it's like a clock world. It's almost like time passing.
It feels very Dali too. It's like Dune meets
like
Dali.
The real like time is passing quickly in there, but it's essentially the same thing in function. Like Adam goes in there and he's gone for a lot longer than he thinks.
We see like a fin on a giant creature that's kind of like weaving up and down. I don't think we see its face yet. Adam last minute is like pulled by a hand back into the house.
Yeah.
And she's essentially like, you've been gone for 2 hours, even though to us it's been a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Which again is a great device of like, I've learned something while you've been gone, so we don't have to like explain why I know these new things now.
Yeah.
Because she shows him a mirror, they realize that they can't see themselves in it.
With their horse collection.
Yeah. Which is so cute. I loved their little horse collection.
People's not selling, they have a little horse collection.
Yeah, they're all set.
We also see that there is a book on a table, and it's the handbook for the recently deceased. And there was a really funny, Adam picks it up and reads it, and he's like, the recently diseased, which I thought was very cute.
Corrects him.
And then they realize, I don't think that we survived this crash. We're in their bedroom. They're like trying to figure out what's happening. They're like half reading the book, but I would never read this book.
I would absolutely read the book.
Well, I hope we die together.
Yeah. I would have to read the book, but the way the book is written would really, really upset me.
Yeah, it's described like it's like instruction. It's like an IKEA manual.
I know, and I don't like that. Speak layman's terms. And this movie has a lot of people in it that do one of my least favorite things that people do, which is act like you should know something that you don't.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Everyone's like, you didn't read the book? It's like, yeah.
What am I,
Well, it's the
first person?
perfect representation of like the
Bureaucracy.
DMV
Yeah,
and
yeah.
bureaucracy. It's like, oh, you didn't fill out form
Yeah.
XYZ and
Every email of
You
my
idiot, you
accountant.
don't know, yeah, our
Why don't you know
entire
tax code? You don't. You
yeah,
you went to
Yeah.
school
that's
for
your
it.
job,
I'm
dude.
paying you.
Yeah, stupid.
Stupid.
As they're trying to like figure out exactly what's going on, we like zoom down from the house in this really cool shot where we go like under the earth. It's hard to tell if it's even like the model or their house because they're kind of one and the same. And we go down to like under the ground. We see a bunch of candles lit, and there's a man covering his face reading the newspaper. This is Beetlejuice, spoiler. And he's like looking for the next business that he could do, and he's reading the obituary section, and he sees one, please welcome the Maitlands, and they're like, and he's like, oh, they're cute and like nice and stupid.
Yeah.
Real stupid. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like our first little just glimmer of our lead title.
Yeah, title character,
Um, we cut to upstairs. Adam is working on the attic. He's making like their little graves, which I thought was kind of cute.
Yeah.
And Barbara's like trying to clean and vacuum. Her like vacuums in the garage. You know, like they're just doing their thing when they hear a door slam. The realtor is outside in kind of like a nun pilgrimy outfit.
She's in
like
the mourning outfit.
Yeah,
she went
like,
to their funeral.
She went
She
to
left their funeral to come sell their house. Like,
yeah,
it's like
with her
she's
daughter.
So excited.
Who is in a matching outfit.
Yeah.
Here's
a Matryoshka doll, yeah.
Yeah. Barbara's still like frustrated by the book, not really understanding what's happening. And then Adam says, basically, like, it doesn't matter. We're dead. There's nothing to worry about anymore, which is kind of our like underline. Obviously, that's not true.
Yeah.
Things are about to get a lot worse for them. Jane leaves. She drives by the for sale sign. We cut to Adam and Barbara are both in their bedroom sleeping. Then, why do they sleep?
I don't know. Maybe just out of pure habit.
Yeah.
Okay. Kind of an interesting question to think about.
With the dead.
I'm gonna think about that. Too much.
Yeah.
Their house begins to rumble, which causes them to wake up. Downstairs, we see people are moving in. It's the Deets. We have Charles, who is the dad in like a sweater vest, and he's like he just wants to be there to relax. He's clearly like uptight, but he sees like this house as a way to like get away from the big city. We have Delia, who's like just absolutely perfect, played by Catherine O'Hara, a very like art house New York lady, and she's clearly not loving this house.
Yeah.
Do you guys like the house as is, or would you want to make changes?
I wouldn't want to make these changes.
The changes they made are like neon dungeon.
Yeah.
It reminded me of when I worked at a laser tag place.
That's what it looks like. Their kitchen, the dining room they ate at later.
The like spackly, like
disgusting.
Speckled wall.
Yeah. Well, their house before, we should, if you're not familiar, it has like, it's a very like kind of grandma, I guess. Like the wallpaper is like browns and tans and like little flowers and stuff.
I like that shit. I'd probably just keep it.
I would keep it. Maybe, give it a little.
It's a little update.
A little shush.
Yeah, it's
but
like
not,
a little,
but not like space toad aesthetic.
Not space toad?
No, unfortunately not for me.
I hope I have the receipt.
Yeah.
Sculptures I got.
And then one of the best entrances, maybe in any movie, the movers come in with a chair, they slam it down, and then Lydia is just like curled up in it with her little camera, and she is just so amazing in this movie.
Yeah.
She sees a spider on the wall, and her dad's like asking her, well, what do you think of the place? And she sees the spider, and she knows she like likes that. She's like, I think I could.
Like, Delia hates it, and then looks at the spider. I could live here.
Yeah. The movers are moving in some sculptures. Delia's telling them to like be careful. These are my sculptures, and then the guy just like slams it on the ground.
Incredible.
Through the window, kind of like Clarissa Explains It All style, comes Otho. Who is like he has like many jobs. He's an interior designer, but he's also like a chemist and a hairdresser and like
paranormal expert.
Yeah, pretty much sucking off these people. Whatever they say they need and they're stupid enough to pay him for, he'll do for them. So they want to redesign the whole house. Charles is like, I like it just the way it is. I need to relax, but they're not listening. Adam and Barbara are overhearing all of this, and they're like very upset by what they're seeing. And they think, oh, like I read in the book, or at least Adam's reading the book a little more. And he's like, we could be ghosts and like just try to scare them away and save our house. So I loved this as a kid too when they went around and like did the spray paint
With
on
the
the
name of the color they wanted to change it to.
yeah, she wrote
That's
like
cool.
mauve, and
Yeah.
then he's like, "Oh, you read my mom."
Yeah.
Which yeah, clearly he's just BSing her
Yeah.
much. She Delia opens up the closet door. We see like wedding dress and suit hanging in there, and then she opens that up, and we see, is that when we see Barbara?
Yeah, Barbara is hanging in the
In
closet
an
trying
attempt to
scare
scare
them.
these people because she don't like them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they just brush her to the side. They don't notice her at all.
Well, there's a fun fake me out. It's like,
They
oh,
gasp.
the
Yeah.
closets are so tiny.
Yeah.
They have like another moment like that. They open the office door. Adam is lying on the ground headless. Barbara is standing there holding his head with a knife. And then we think that they're going to react to that, but then Charles pops out and there's like a jump scare of like, don't touch this office. And then Delia has a great monologue. If you don't let me express myself, I will go insane and take you with me. She's just so incredible in this movie. I mean, she's great in everything. But she's so funny in this.
Yes.
Charles is like, okay, we'll leave this room alone. Otho wants to go upstairs. Adam's headless body runs up to like lock the door before they can get up there. And then Otho can like feel a whiz of him going by. So they kind of can like sense something there. Or it seems like Otho isn't like totally BSing.
Otho has like, I think like a modicum of the ability to see these guys.
Right, because like we kind of later learn, like if you kind of take the time to learn and look at strange things in the world, perhaps you can then start to see the ghost.
Yeah.
I'd say Otho is a strange person.
Yeah,
He looks at
strange
strange
and
things.
unusual.
Yeah.
Open to everything because
Yeah.
it could benefit
It could
him in his
be a
BS.
house.
Yeah. Adam and Barbara are like very upset by what they're seeing, and Barbara can't take it anymore. So she runs down the stairs, opens up the door, leaves, and now she's in the sand world for the first time. And we see like the snake even bigger. And you said like the most Tim Burton-y looking.
It was like a worm with a worm in its mouth, or like a
Yeah.
mouth in its mouth or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I thought, this is Beetlejuice? Like, wow. So interesting.
What did you think of the design of the creature?
A goofy. It looks like paper mache.
Yeah, it's like stop
Well, you
motion.
kind of were a little like Beetlejuicy.
Listen,
Hey,
have little skull earrings. Listen, I need some things.
If you're just listening, not watching the video, Rekha's wearing a white and black striped.
Yeah, just like his suit.
Just like his suit. Is wearing, a full-blown just Beetlejuice suit. Her hair is green.
Yeah, my face looks like shit. I look incredible.
Do you relate to any of these characters so far?
Yeah. I so far relate to I guess I relate to Delia because I'm also trying to make art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That nobody understands.
That nobody
and
gets.
appreciates.
Yeah, and I'm waiting for them to get it.
Yeah.
And so catch me in a year and see if they get it.
I
have to catch up.
a great job with like her because she is so over the top,
Yeah.
but you do also care about her because you see that people aren't taking her art seriously, that she wants to be liked, but can't quite get her foot in the door.
Yes.
So she's not like just a blanket it. We could do a family meal. They're all eating Chinese food from a place named Duffy's.
She goes, I can't believe we're doing Cantonese. We can't do Szechuan. I'm like, oh, okay. But we're doing Cantonese. I can't believe we're doing Duffy's for Cantonese.
Are these New Yorkers accurate?
Yeah, for sure. New Yorkers, Connecticut, it's all accurate to that area.
Delia's dreaming about this becoming like some kind of like summer art center where like people from the city come and like enjoy her sculptures and this and that. And they're like, but everything in this house has to go, including whatever is up in the attic. Then we cut to construction outside. The face of the house is already like changing where it looks like kind of like kids building blocks, but just like
really was interesting.
Yeah. It's meant to look like they're putting like a new modern facade onto the house. Lydia's taking pictures. Delia's bossing people around. At one point, the sculpture like hits into Delia and she's like stuck against the wall, trapped inside of it. Maybe some foreshadowing.
I love foreshadowing. Yeah, this is my art, and it is very dangerous.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So funny.
Barbara and Adam are upstairs in the attic, which is where they're staying now because their whole house has been taken over. And they're just upset by this. They see a flyer upstairs that says Beetlejuice, which the spelling of it like varies. And apparently it was always supposed to be spelled Beetlejuice, but pronounced Beetlejuice. And the studio was just worried that people would not know how to pronounce the movie, like when they were trying to get a ticket or something. So then they literally wrote it out as Beetlejuice.
Wow, that's
So
fascinating.
because we are dumb, this detail changed.
I love when people accommodate me.
Yeah. They're thinking about
They really
us.
thought about
really
me.
thought about me.
As Lydia's taking her pictures, she notices up in the window that she's able to see the two of them. And she's the only one so far that has been able to do that. Jane, the realtor, drives by to drop off this skeleton key that can open up any door in the house. Lydia asks, like, what happened to the family that was here? And then the kid in the back.
Yeah. They drowned.
Yeah.
They
Dressed exactly like the mom in
Yeah.
this like sweater with like a little flower. It's just such a funny detail because I think this is the last time we see this character.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
they didn't need to do all that, but it's so fun that they did. Oh, and she's also like, and I decorated the house if you need any help with
Yeah,
anything.
she's very
I'm
silly
like, I'm
character.
good.
Yeah, yeah.
It's bad.
You need to drop off some dust.
You need any more little horses?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a guy.
Yeah.
We cut to the stairs of the attic, and you notice this with the construction dust.
It's just for 1 second show the guys like doing construction on the wall, and it creates all this like dust and everything, and it creates atmosphere for Lydia to walk through. So when she goes,
Oh, for
it's
the
like
first time,
dramatic
yeah.
when she goes up to the
Yeah.
attic. I thought that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, a TV on the attic, like inside the attic, pops on, and we get another Beetlejuice ad, and he's like riding a plastic cow. It's very like a local commercial.
car
Yeah,
salesman kind of a thing.
exactly. I'll swallow anything you want me to swallow. I'll chew on the dog.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I had no idea what his function
Gist was?
because I've only seen the cartoon.
Gotcha.
And in that, I just remember, and literally, don't correct me if I'm wrong, that he just
Don't
like,
care.
helps
Only
Lydia.
agree with me.
Yeah, he just like helps Lydia, and like
think
her
he does
parents
in
can't
the-
see
in the
her.
cartoon.
Him, yeah. So it's just like, oh, he's just there, like. It happens to be this little goth girl's the only one who can see him. Bummer if he has to help a little girl. Well, he probably wants to help somebody else. Whatever.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I thought. I'm like, oh, his job is that he's really good at possessing the living, and
Yeah, he's a
that's
bio
interesting.
exorcist.
Yeah.
Or at least that's what he's saying now. He's kind of like just BSing his way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Adam and Barbara then notice the knob of the door move. On the other side, Lydia has the skeleton key, and they're like able to. What are they just like jam something in it? That causes
A random pole.
He's got like a knitting needle.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something.
Oh,
Oh, okay, yeah. Is able to like get her to go away for a bit. Adam grabs the handbook for the recently deceased, and there's like an in case of emergencies, draw a door, which I love this scene.
Yeah.
He does like a little chalk line on this brick wall that's in their attic, and then nothing's happening. So then he has to draw like a little doorknob,
Yeah.
which was very cute. Still nothing happening. Then he has to knock 3 times, and we get this like glow that comes from behind like the cracks of the brick wall, and it like it's very kind of similar to like in Hellraiser.
Yeah,
Like the lines of the brick wall, and it opens up. Lydia, from at least underneath the crack in the door from when she's in the hall, can like see the glow, and Adam and Barbara step inside. We cut to Charles, the dad, is in his office. He's looking at a bird book. He has these like binoculars, and he's looking around, seeing this like bird eating a carcass.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Tim Burton-y-ass bird.
Yeah.
Eating, like a carrion bird that's like fucked up and has like crazy pointy feathers.
And I forgot this plot point, but then he sees that he's like looking over the town, and he sees a building, and you kind of see a spark of like acknowledgement. We don't know quite yet what.
Well, he's like bad roof, good parking. So he's like scoping out the
small town for
Yeah.
big corporate interests.
Yeah. Even though he's saying, I just want to be here and relax, not work, he like can't turn that off.
Yeah.
Oh, so relatable, right?
Oh yeah, me?
Yeah.
I could never.
That's right.
I'm always looking for houses to buy, towns to destroy. Lydia busts in the door to tell him what's going on in the attic, and basically no one will give her the time of day. You know, he's just like relax, and she's like, okay, I can't relax in a haunted house, but whatever.
Ha ha ha! My spooky little daughter.
I know.
Go on.
My weird little kid.
Upstairs, or not upstairs, but now Adam and Barbara have walked through this portal into this other world, and their first place that they're at is this waiting room, which is very funny that the afterlife, like the first thing you would run into is this big, like kind of like if you're at again like a DMV or a doctor's office.
I thought that was really cool because when I was in film school, I feel like a lot of people made short films that are like the afterlife, and it's like a waiting room. And I'm like,
Oh,
Beetlejuice did the
Oh,
same
they're all
thing.
just ripping off.
Yeah, if you can imagine, the film school students maybe did a much, much worse version of that.
Yeah. And they do make a point to say, like, this isn't heaven or hell. So it's not like hell is a waiting room. It's more just like there is just an afterlife, and this is how it functions.
Yes.
There's like a circus lady cut in half. There's like a chicken guy with like the chicken is in his throat. So
I noticed this time it was just a sleeping bag with like a snake inside of it.
Okay, cute.
Like there's just like little ones that were like kind of off to in the background that I think you can like really notice.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's for like dense with little jokes.
Dead jokes, yeah.
They go up to the reception desk, the window pops open, and I always love the design of this woman. She's Miss Argentina, and she's the receptionist there, and she's essentially like giving them shit like, it's only been 2 months, what are you even doing here? Didn't you read through the manual? You don't have an appointment. Juno's your caseworker. Just again, kind of like what we're saying, like you show up and you're being yelled at for not knowing how this all works instantly. So they have to take a number. Some of the numbers are like a million, in the millions. People are waiting a very long time. Cut back to Lydia. She is able to finally open the closet or the attic door, and she sees the little model homes, and she finds the handbook. And we kind of are bouncing back and forth now from Lydia to the Maitlands.
The Maitlands, yeah.
We're in the waiting room. They're finally called. They're told to like take your handbook, which they've forgotten. They're doing like everything wrong. Go down to the 6th door. And the guy who they have to like follow, this guy always freaked me out. He's kind of like on a clothesline, and you can see tire tracks on him like he was run over. And then he's so flat that his body, he's like able to slit through these cracks.
Yeah, that was nice.
That was nice.
I like that.
What do you think of this depiction of it?
I liked it. Some of the deaths were confusing. So the fact that one of the main deaths we see in that waiting room is the tiny head, I was like,
oh yeah,
what?
It's like a
and some people are demonic.
Shrunken head thing. Like that's it's like
and
the
it's kind of not
doctor.
revealed until the very end.
Yeah,
so
which I got at the end.
Yeah,
but then there's some people that are green. I'm like, so are you all of you humans and something? How did you become green? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was a question mark for me, but I liked seeing.
Oh yeah, Miss Argentina is blue, but she like she's like my little accident, and she shows her wrists that have like cuts on them.
Dark.
Very dark. Yeah, I always took it as just like an like almost like cartoonishly exaggerated.
Yeah, like if you drowned, you're like bright blue kind of thing.
Yeah, like your blood all let out.
Food poisoning, it's green.
Yeah.
It's like this world is kind of neon. And weird.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved the little skeletons working at the desk too.
Cute.
When they're in the back.
So cute.
They are really cute. They walk down this like wavy, again, very Tim Burton-y black and white checkered hallway, and there's like a man just like mopping the floor. They like one of the doors kind of just like opens up. It's like a screen, and they see all these really sad, just like lost souls in there. Yeah. They're like, woo. And you learn that like that's death for the dead.
Yeah, the janitor tells them that those are souls that have been exorcised. So that's like foreshadowing for the very end. When they're like becoming all like emaciated.
I did not make that connection.
Yeah. So it's only for like 1 second that you see this. So you just see that it's like, they've been exorcised, and so they're sort of in this limbo forever, and it's sad.
Okay.
Yeah. They don't literally say to like what they're doing to them at the end to like totally have it all make sense.
I didn't know what was happening. Interesting.
Yeah. But this is the death for them. Yeah. But you know, maybe for somebody in the future, who knows? They finally find the 6th door, and then they open it, and they're in this like big what looks like a just creepy modern art museum with like all of these like big sculptures that look like scorpions and like cement and very like heavy and dark. And they realize that this is their house. And a like cigarette gets lit up near them, and they learn from this tiny, very like tough old lady named Juno, who they find out is their caseworker, that they've been waiting in the waiting room for 3 months, even though again it's only felt like 2 minutes. And she's essentially like kind of treating them like a government employee would, like, what's your problem? What do you need
Yeah.
right now? After you've waited for 3 months,
Yeah.
yeah, I can't help you with anything. Um, and the advice that she gives them is to like figure out how to do this on your own and like use the skills that you guys have in order to scare these people out of your house, so that you can have your house back. They eventually like wind up back to the attic with
Well, she
her.
warns them to not to use
Use
Beetlejuice.
Well, yeah, when they're
Oh,
back
sorry.
up in the attic. Oh, no, you're fine. She you don't need to know that she says it in the attic. Just that Beetlejuice used to be her assistant. That he's even among the nefarious dead, he's really bad. And if you say his name 3 times, you'll summon him. So just never do that. Then we just have a weird POV of a fly like going into the model. It lands on the grass, which is like plasticky and pointy. It like a slit of it opens up, a hand comes, and Beetlejuice has like some kind of candy that then he
Yeah.
like
A
makes.
Zagnut bar.
Yeah, is that an actual candy bar?
Yeah, it's a real candy.
Oh, I didn't know if it was like a
Wow.
pun.
Perfect advertising. I want.
Yeah.
Yeah, mm.
Beetlejuice likes it.
Yeah, that's good enough for
Flies.
me. Yeah.
Yeah, Beetlejuice that eats the fly. I guess it's just showing us he's still there. He's like,
And he's like
And he's
he's
gross.
gross.
and he's gross. Yeah.
Yeah. He's got a big candy bar, but he wants to eat a
But
bug.
wants to eat a bug.
Yeah.
What do you get a candy bar?
We cut to an office that has like a skyline of New York and a new character, Maxie, played by Robert Goulet, if you know who that is. He's in New York. Charles is calling him, basically saying, like, you got to come out here. And like,
Buildings are hot.
the buildings, yeah. It's like a really cute, quaint town right now, but we could make it a real just shithole.
We could buy it up for cheap.
Yeah.
This is the true evil of this movie that's happening.
Yes,
Like,
yeah.
we could put models on every
It's like-
corner.
people saw this and were like, yeah, let's buy up whole towns.
Yeah.
Let's do real estate and fuck people over.
But Maxie doesn't seem to be like totally into it or interest. He's just like, yeah,
No.
sure, not gonna come, hangs up, calls him a putz. So even like Charles, like him and both Delia are treated like jokes in their profession, even though he seems to be doing well. He bought this house. How much do you think the house cost?
Oh my
Then,
god.
I don't know.
Yeah, in
the
88 or now.
80s?
Because that house has an attic, a basement, it's presumably multiple bedrooms.
Several,
Yeah.
like on a lot
3
of acres.
Yeah, on a lot.
An office?
I would say I'm horrible at estimating. $5 million.
Yeah,
Is
today.
that crazy? Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably not
Depending
in the
what
80s,
area.
I don't
In the
think.
80s, it was like $36.
Yeah, yeah.
And they paid you.
But he was making good money
Yeah.
back then. Oh, I love this moment. So he hangs up, that didn't go great. He wasn't able to convince Maxie. He opens up the door, and there are two very like classic, almost cartoon style ghosts that are like sheets with the little white holes. And ooh, he thinks it's Lydia. He just totally ignores them. Again, like no one's really paying attention to anything that's going on besides himself. Lydia hears the woo and thinks it's the parents getting it on, which is creepy.
Would it that it were that's what sex sounded like?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Charles is even like, your mom is gonna kill you for cutting holes in those $300 sheets, which I thought was a cute detail.
Yeah.
Delia is just like lying in bed, passed out. They're trying to like scare her. Each one they've tried so far isn't really working. Lydia comes with her Polaroid, takes pictures, and then notices that there's no feet. So these, she's realizing, are the ghosts. And she's not scared of them at all. She like brings up Night of the Living Dead. Like she thinks that it's very kind of like,
She's interested, yeah.
yeah.
And even Barbara's like, if I was a little girl and saw a ghost, I would be scared out of my wits. And
No.
she's like,
Well, I'm a toad, so
I'm
like
a-
it.
Would you be scared if you saw a ghost?
Yes. Would
if you
you?
saw these two,
Well, yes. Ultimately, yes. if they were nice to me, I could get used to them.
Yeah.
But upon first meeting, when I don't know what their deal is, I'm not like, hi. I'm like,
Yeah. They would just instantly make big life changes. It means that there's an afterlife. It means a lot of things that I believe right now are incorrect.
Yes.
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
got to
yeah.
change a lot of things that I think.
Yeah,
Yes.
you and me gotta become nuns or something, like, you know.
I've always thought that.
Yeah. That's why in like ghost movies that instantly everyone isn't like, well, yeah, the guy's
Time to
real
go
then.
pray.
Yeah, I gotta just pray all
It's like,
day.
well, okay.
Oh, she, you know, they even call it out like, you're not scared at all. And she mentions that she, you know, and how can you see us? Nobody else can. She mentions that she's read the book, and that live people ignore the strange and unusual. I myself am strange and unusual, which is so cute. She's just like the perfect little moody goth girl.
Yeah.
We cut to upstairs. They're like showing her the model of the house. They explain how they can't leave. And they're like, anything that you could say to your family at all to get them out of here, please, you know, do that. Um, she's like, I'll try to help, but like, you know, my dad would never walks away from equity. Like, you know, it's kind of a fat chance. We're back to the morning. We cut to the kitchen. Delia's like chopping, ready for dinner guests. It's not Maxie, but like people from town, artsy people who have been in Vanity Fair, her agent.
Yeah, her agent, yeah.
And just like snooty art people.
Yeah.
Lydia again is trying to say, like, I told the ghost, like, you were too mean to be afraid.
So
like,
funny.
Trying to convince them that the ghosts are there. Nobody's paying attention to her.
And kind of an interesting thing. It's like, you see this weird interplay starting to happen where like both Lydia's parents ignore her and both Adam and Barbara wanted a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seeds are being planted.
Yeah. And then even Adam and Barbara are watching Lydia and they're kind of being endeared with her already because they're like, oh, like clearly she's trying to help. She's like a good kid. She likes us, but like it just isn't working.
Yeah.
So they go up to the attic. They're finally like, okay, let's at least like talk to this Beetlejuice guy. They say the name 3 times and they're transported inside of the model. Again, that is like an exact replica of the town, the one that we like flew over in the opening. There's a sign pointing to Beetlejuice's grave with some shovels. They know like they're gonna have to dig. And I love that when they're digging, it's like made from like model material. It's like cardboard.
Classic,
Like he went so far as to make the
levels of like
dirt.
Igneous rock. Like the fake
insulation.
Yeah.
They find the coffin and then Beetlejuice like flies out and is like floating above them. And it's hard to even write down what he does or says because he's moving so quick and I'm slow. So essentially we learn that he's like a big perv. He's like all over Barbara, honking her, looking
looking over
how would you describe his behavior?
I think he's giving her honks and tweets.
Honks and
looky loos.
And like being very into Adam, like, oh buddy, yeah, right, girl.
He's like a 1920s duck with a cigar.
Who's just a total perv. Who's just letting his freak flag fly. And essentially he's like trying to I don't know what he's even trying to do right now.
I think he's trying I don't know, he's like amusing himself.
Yeah.
He's like a demon Sam Kinison kind of a like hyper you know, loud and insane and just making
speaking
jokes.
of cartoon sounds, he's like bings and boings like as he's doing things. I think at one point he like honks his wiener.
Own dick.
Like
nice model.
Yeah. This little sweet couple is obviously disgusted by him. So then they go home. I don't know how they know that works, but they're transported back to just the attic. They're out of the model and, you know, they're kind of like, we're gonna have to figure this out on our own.
They're like,
he's clearly not the one.
He's a freak.
We cut to a dinner party. All of the fancy New York people are there. Otho mentions that if you harm yourself, that in the afterlife you become a civil servant, which then we've seen actually happen. So again, he like kind of stumbles upon things that are actually true. He mentions that he was a paranormal researcher. On the table there's like these bowls with like shrimp in them and then like
it's just the grossest shrimp cocktail you've ever seen.
You might be staring at the shrimp cocktail and know that it's going to be something because it's too disgusting.
And it's like too large.
It's way too big.
Jumbo shrimp. They hear a noise and the guest asks what it is, and then Lydia tells them that there's ghosts in the house. Delia clearly doesn't want to talk about this. Otho's like, no, come on, like, let's do it. Delia's about to like totally shut him down, and then she kind of like stops, like doesn't know what's going on, opens her mouth, and Harry Belafonte singing Deo comes out, which Rekha did not know that
I
this
never
was
like,
going to
what?
happen.
heard of that, never seen that, and now I'm like, oh, I'll know that forever.
Yeah.
Totally shocked me. I can tell you as a new viewer, had no concept of what was going to happen. So when she started saying Deo, I was like, is that supposed to be her voice? And then I was like, oh, she's being
Like
possessed. And I was like, oh,
yeah.
it's Beetlejuice because they didn't say they didn't like totally put him back in his house or whatever. Um, I, I was so shocked at the scene that ensued. I'd
Yeah.
never seen that before in my life, and it just made me think, wow, this is what Beetlejuice is.
This
this is what
is BC.
You can put anything in a movie,
Yeah.
in a good way. Like I
Yeah.
don't mean that negatively.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's just a fun way to show a possession because you've seen like the girl
Yes.
strapped to the bed and it's so like graphic and sad, but to have it
But
play
this is
out.
the Maitlands
We also know
version
it's
of it.
Exactly,
They're
with their song that they
cute,
liked.
and they're like, this will, scare the bejeepers out of
Which
them.
I think I forgot to mention. They're playing Harry Belafonte
Yeah, in the beginning.
and
Yeah.
he's like tinkering around.
And I thought it was a cool 4-quadrant way to show a possession.
Yeah.
Where like if I'm a kid, I think that's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
all shaking their butts at each other and like
Yeah.
doing goofy dances. And then if I'm a parent, I understand it's a possession. But like, so it's like, that's cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cute.
It was great. Yeah, they all hold hands. They're dancing around the table, but
Yeah.
they're like half looking like
Yeah.
they don't understand.
Their eyes
what's
are
happening.
scared, and
Yes.
I think everyone.
But their bodies are so silly.
Yeah.
It's perfect. And it ends with, this part did scare me as a kid. They sit back down and the two large shrimp grabs their faces and like pushes them all back.
Yeah.
That shrimp freaked me out. I don't know if I
Right.
had shrimp for years because of that.
Ew.
Yeah. No, I love shrimp.
You're not a seafood gal.
When I ate meat, which was for 11 years, I did like shrimp.
Yeah.
Did this movie make you want to eat shrimp again?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, maybe
there
when
you
you
go.
Yeah. Maybe
Send
actually,
your
I want
shrimp-
hands.
My human
They're
hand.
bugs.
If you
A big
see
fly.
at a show, bring her shrimp. Adam and Barbara are thrilled. They're like, that worked perfectly. They're looking out the window, waiting for them all to leave. A knock at the door. It's Lydia. It didn't work. They want you to come down, wear whatever sheet you want. Everybody loved it. They're all downstairs. Maxie Dean is sure to show up now. Robert Goulet. They're like excited. Delia's agent, though, is like, well, I want real proof. I've lost money on you for years. You suck. And now I can just say it out loud.
Yeah.
Like, why are you her agent? You
Yeah.
could have dropped her.
I drove all the way to have dinner with you because I hate you.
I know. I'm curious why. I guess the husband makes so much money. Maybe they want to keep him happy.
And maybe this guy, let's be real. Maybe this guy's all talk and he doesn't have many other clients.
Mm.
Oh,
Make her feel bad.
wow. Okay, now I feel bad for him
So,
too.
Let's be real.
Wow, I feel bad
Feel
for
bad
rich
for them?
people.
Me too.
Yeah, they
This
got
is
it hard.
demented.
So they're like, Lydia shows the proof. They don't want to come down. Like they just, don't like you guys. All of the fancy people leave because they haven't been given the proof they want. Delia is pissed. She marches up the stairs, like busting down on the door, trying to get the Maitlands to like show themselves. They finally get it open and they see nobody's there. They're like hiding. We don't know quite where they're at. They look around, they see the model, which Charles really likes because again, now he's like very into this town and taking it over.
Yeah.
Otho sees the book, the handbook of the recently deceased, picks it up, so we know bad things are going to ensue. They realize that they're not there or they're hiding, they leave. We see like little fingers in the window where they're like hanging. So they can leave the house in that way.
I guess if they're still touching the inside.
Their fingers were
Yeah.
inside. But if they were to fall, they would fall
They'd
in
fall
the
into
pants.
a worm's mouth.
Yeah. Swallow it up.
Beetlejuice is laughing from his little motto, you guys suck at scaring people. Charles is walking down the like they're all then like leaving the attic. Delia, this part scared me so much as a kid, has her hand on the banister and it goes from being
Like a wooden banister.
a regular wooden banister to
a big snake.
A big scary
I
snake.
liked it. I thought that was nice. I liked it.
The Beetlejuice head with the teeth.
I liked it.
You thought it was cool.
I thought it was nice.
You're like, that's a good detail.
That's a nice.
good.
I like that he was.
And he had a
I
little
wish my
rattle
band
too.
Yeah, and then he, unlike a rattlesnake whose weapon is biting you, he just hit you with his butt. He hit
Yeah.
you
Oh,
around.
yeah.
Smacks like
Yeah.
Otho down the stairs.
Yeah.
She throws Charles off of the.
Oh yeah, picks
banister.
Charles up like a vending machine claw and then just drops
Yeah,
him three
drops him.
flights.
He's dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, this house is quite tall.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So you
Looks
wouldn't be
under
scared.
you.
You want to see.
Okay, yeah, let's be clear. If Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin showed up in my house, scared.
Yeah.
If Beetlejuice the snake showed up, loved it.
Love him.
Love it.
Love him so much.
Sharp like a snake.
His teeth were
And
like
his
little
eyeballs
fingers.
were like a snake.
I love
Yeah.
him.
That scared me.
Do you like snakes?
I like
you
that
don't
snake.
snakes either.
You like snakes because
I
you're
do
a
like
freak.
snakes, yeah.
You want to have it in
Ew.
this house so it can crawl
I
out
do-
into our bed.
I do think that's bad. I think this is rude. I think animals should have arms and legs.
I agree.
I'm sorry.
About fish.
I don't like them.
I don't
Yeah.
like fish either.
I don't, and I respect them. I respect the hell out of them.
Sure.
We shouldn't go down there.
They
I'm
have
not
their own
interested.
space.
Yeah.
I'm
I
not
completely
interested.
agree.
Everything that's in the deep sea.
Yeah.
It's so nasty.
is
I mean, I'm
fucking
not picking up
vile.
rocks trying to get one, but
But are you looking at pictures?
my
of stuff?
uncle had one when we were growing up. So he had like it's like a garter snake. So it's just like a little snake that like it just ate its food, and then it was like a docile thing that you could hold in your hand, and it was just like neat. It was just cool. I know. They're not slimy though. They're not.
I know,
slimy.
but it's too smooth.
They're very smooth.
Blech.
Yeah, and the muscles, you can feel like the muscles moving.
Oh,
But you're saying all these things, what you like though.
They're
You're saying all
cool.
the worst
They're
things.
like
Ugh.
little dragons. I love that
Blech.
shit.
No,
No lizards?
lizards are okay. Arms and legs.
that is true.
Damn.
Sorry.
A
To hang
lizard
with
is
me.
just a snake.
But then
with
you have
arms
to
and
feed
legs.
them a bug.
You do have to feed them bugs. I think a lizard seems easier to catch if I have to. A snake,
If you have to.
snake like
If
if
I
it's on
must.
the loose. I think a snake could like crawl
if
up
it's
the
in your
wall.
house.
Yeah. And like be in my ears.
Up a wall.
I think
So
snakes
listen,
are-
through one ear and out the other.
territory.
walls are lizard territory. But I think I could be like, boo.
And it would fall. You're probably right.
You could have power over it.
Yeah, I'm a bioexorcist for
You
that.
could put Poppy over and she would get the lizard.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I have a freaking lizard in the house.
Oh yeah, big giant
Big
Komodo
Komodo
dragon.
dragon.
Freakazoid.
Speaking of our bioexorcist, Beetlejuice is back in the model. We see like water shoot up from the model. We go down. He's been like in a car crash where he's like coming out of it. He hit like a hydrant.
Yeah.
He's basically telling the Maitlands how much they suck. And then like light shines from a distance. We look over and there's like a titty bar.
Because he's basically like, I'm horny right now. And then a little brothel type place comes up. and he's
Yeah.
like,
And there's a bunch of like sexy ghoul girls. Like,
And he's like humping his way over. to
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So funny. We cut to the office of Juno, so back in like the death realm. There's an entire football team surrounding her, and they keep calling her coach, which is very cute.
Yeah.
And she shares that the titty bar was her idea to like
distract
to
Beetlejuice.
distract Beetlejuice. Yeah, like
I
a
know
little
my
cat.
assistant.
Yeah. He'll be busy there for a
Yeah, yeah.
And she basically goes like runs down everything that the Maitlands have done wrong. You let out Beetlejuice, you didn't put him back. Otho now has the book. And you've shown people that there is proof of life after death, which is one of the worst things you could do.
Yeah.
So you guys are going to have to solve all this. We cut to the house. Charles, I guess, is kind of second guessing being there, but Otho's like, Maxie's coming tonight. Like get your stuff together. Lydia's up in her room with like a veil over her face, opera music playing, and she's like, I am alone. And then she
because she felt betrayed by the Maitlands. She thought that they had intentionally brought Beetlejuice to scare them so badly as the snake.
Yeah.
So when they, even though Barbara is like Beetlejuice sends him back, Lydia just sees that he was there, and that Barbara seems to be kind of controlling him. So she's like, How could you do that?
You almost killed my dad.
Yeah, and then she like runs away. So now she's like, I don't even have these people who I thought were my friends.
I
my
will
only
jump
friends.
off of a bridge. Very dark.
Yeah. She said she's gonna.
I mean, but the way that they always have like
Comedic.
a very dark thing that she's like writing her note, but like crumpling up because she wants to like have it sound
The
more
perfect word.
poetic.
Yeah.
So I'm alone. I am utterly alone.
Yeah.
Or she'll change like jumped, cross it out, plummeted.
Plummeted.
Yeah.
And she plans to, jump off of the same bridge that the Maitlands did. So I think in parts two, she's like mad at them, but also hoping to still be
Join
with
them.
them.
Mm-hmm.
Back in Juno's office, she's like, I got to see how you're going to scare the Deetses and like take care of this once and for all. Then they do this awesome, again, very Tim Burton-y, where Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin both make their faces into the monsters that they're going to be.
Yeah.
Alec Baldwin is like a kind of like a chicken.
Yeah,
It's like a long
eyeball fingers.
Yeah, eyeball fingers, long skin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Face.
And like feathers, but it's a
Yeah,
hand
it's
on
a
the top.
hand.
Then Barbara is more like an alligator.
Yeah,
she like
with eyeballs in her mouth.
And she's literally pulling it to like make it go longer. Oh, the eyeball, because she takes the eyeballs out of her own mouth. They're stuck to her fingers, and then she like puts them here.
Yeah,
or
they're
Alec Baldwin
inside
does
of
that?
her. Well,
He
yeah.
looks. He goes to look at her with his.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
fucking cute.
Yeah.
It's
Little
so
eyeballs in his hand.
freaky. I do wish they stayed in those characters longer because they're
They
so
kind
cool.
of took Gina Davis out of hers pretty fast.
Yeah. Well, Lydia goes up to the Lydia goes up to the attic looking for the Maitlands, and she finds Beetlejuice instead. And when Beetlejuice haunts them at first, we also see he like lingers on Lydia a little bit longer too. Clearly he like likes this young woman.
Oh, and he says that like when he's back in the model, he's like, "Oh, Edgar Allan Poe's daughter. I think she would understand me." And then Gina Davis is like, "You leave that little girl alone."
Yeah, we see how protective they are.
Yeah.
Which is so cute. So he's trying to like convince her to say his name 3 times, trick her into it. They do charades. She sees like a beetle, and then he shows her like an orange juice.
Yeah.
And she's like, beetle breakfast, beetle drink, beetle juice. Before she says it 2 times, or she says it 2 times, then kind of stops herself, like, wait, you're the snake on the banister. You're a bad guy. I want to talk to Barbara. The Deetses are behind the brick door, waiting as their monster forms and having like a really cute, heartfelt conversation about like, are we really gonna do this, honey? I really like Lydia and I don't want to scare her like this. Maybe we could find another way. They like, as they're having this conversation, open up the door and are there right before Lydia, or like Beetlejuice is trying to convince another word. I don't know if she is thinking of saying it again.
No, I think she's gonna wait. Like
Yeah.
she consents that he's creepy and
But busts in. They're scary right now, so they freak her out.
Yeah.
They make Beetlejuice go away, and they kind of all decide together like what they're gonna do next.
Yeah, that Gina Davis changes her face back like immediately.
Yeah.
And then Adam stays in the creepy form for he's like trying to push himself
Yeah,
back and he's like
yeah.
having trouble.
Yeah.
I like that Adam kind of throughout the movie is like a little doofy.
He is a little doofy. There's sometimes where I'm like, let Barbara cook. Well, because he's also like the guy in the 80s,
Yeah, she mostly becomes just the maternal, like, I like Lydia.
Yeah.
Lydia. Yeah. Although we just kind of all the characters, we spend a little time with all of them, so we don't really flesh out any of them at a time.
There's a lot of characters in the movie. Yeah.
Then Otho and Charles come upstairs. Everyone who's up there hides. They go to grab the model and bring it downstairs. And we realize it's because Charles is giving this presentation to Maxie about buying this whole town. He finishes up the presentation. Lydia comes down and they're like, okay, we're ready to see the ghost now. That's like really what Maxie came for. He could kind of care less about this pitch. And she's like, they don't want to come down and be like tricked by you guys. They're not here anymore. But like, if you're nice to them and we can like live together, then, they're not going to come down and scare you or anything. That's not what Delia wants to hear. She wants to impress these New York people. So Lydia won't help to bring them down, but Delia knows that Otho has the book now. Or does she know?
I think so, because she sees him with it.
Oh, that's right. And it's basically like, Otho, what do you think? And he's like, yes, they're still here. And we need a personal item of theirs. And Delia remembers earlier when she was in the tiny closet that scared her that there were their wedding outfits hanging up there. So we cut to there's like they're at the table where Deo happened. It's like this big long table. They're all of the guests are sitting around it, and the wedding dresses are like lying down on it. And it's feeling like a little darker in the room, even for this like artsy, scary house. Um, and Otho is starting to do this like ceremony. And the ceremony, like lots of just classic night of whatever, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like some rhyming,
Yeah,
some
yeah.
fun rhyming, creepy
Shel
stuff.
Silverstein stuff.
Yes, yes. This causes the first the dress to like slowly come to life. And upstairs we see with Adam and Barbara that Barbara is like slowly disappearing
Yeah.
in front of Adam. And then she's like reappearing in this dress. And it almost like floats up like a balloon, and then like her limbs
I thought it
and
was
head
cool.
stick out of it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
so
What do you think of all
cool.
these effects?
I love them. I love the most disturbing effect is actually the one after this where when her face starts to form and
Yes.
turns into like a really sunken, sad skeleton face.
Yeah.
That was really freaky looking. And when her hand is so brittle, it like crumbles.
Shrivels.
Yeah. And again, the room that we saw with like the exorcism, she's
Yeah.
becoming like looking
Yeah.
like the souls that are in
Yeah.
that. And it's really sweet. She's like lovingly looking at Lydia this whole
Yeah.
time, too,
Yeah.
like reaching out her hand. It continues, and then the same thing happens to Adam. He like disappears and then comes up in his suit. He sees like his wife is like deteriorating, and then he's slowly deteriorating. Lydia's screaming, they're dying. And even like Charles and some of the guests are like, okay, I think we can stop. We're like taking this too
Mhm.
far. And Otho's basically like, I can't.
don't know
There's
how to
no
stop this,
stopping
yeah.
it.
Yeah, I am. It's too good.
I'm a big dumb idiot. I didn't read the whole handbook.
Yeah.
So Lydia rushes over to the model that's now in the living room and is like, they're dying. Beetlejuice, you have to help them. And he's essentially like, well, what am I going to get out of it? And I guess it's kind of implied that being married would get him out of being trapped.
I don't understand if that's true, because why didn't he try to marry Gina Davis or Adam?
I don't
Or
know.
never
Yeah.
mind.
She's
They're
already married.
Maybe
He respects.
I think
Yeah.
I was also thinking too,
I'm a pervert,
Yeah,
but for
but-
some lines I'm
Yeah,
pro.
marriage.
in the original script that he's just trying to fuck her. He's like trying
Lydia?
to he's trying to have sex
Oh.
with her. It was like a lot darker and
Yeah.
creepier, and he was like he looked like a classic demon
Yeah.
in the script. Like he looked like all like red and pointy
Ew.
tail and stuff. But then I don't know if I don't know who exactly made those changes, or if Tim Burton made it, or like where along the production line it changed that much. I'm sure it was to become more four quadranty, family friendly, to be like he wants to marry her to get like
That's
some
pure.
loophole to escape.
Yeah.
That's pure.
It's still, it's
Marrying a child.
yeah, marrying a
But
teenager.
marriage.
Yeah. And back then it was okay to marry a
It's about
14-year-old.
consider.
Yeah.
But I'd probably
She's
do it.
immature for 14.
She's
Yeah.
really mature.
Yeah.
He's like, you marry me, I'll help you. She says, okay. Beetlejuice 3 times. The model starts to shake. It kind of crack opens, and then Beetlejuice comes up from it like a circus theme. He's got like a carousel around his head, and his arms are like all rolled up as if they're like 10 feet long. And he's just being crazy Beetlejuice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's being like a carnival barker.
I liked
and then he
this.
like unfurls it. You like all this freaky shit?
I liked it. I liked unraveling his arms to be big mallets, then
Yeah.
hitting the 2 dodos.
Oh,
And then
yeah,
after
yeah.
they-
Maxie and his wife just go
Yeah.
flying.
I love that.
And asked, are they dead?
I
Oh,
asked
yes.
because I was like, did he like kill you? Like
He might have.
It's never answered.
Yeah.
We're really reaching a
We never see
cartoony
those
point.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We never see them again. Who knows what
Bummer.
happened?
I love
That would be cute if you saw them like
In the-
later.
later in
Oh,
the
in the
movie.
after, they should be in the
died.
afterlife. Yeah.
They're in hell.
With like bumps on their head. Like their
Yeah,
heads are
that's
flat.
funny. Or like their heads, they have like a hat that's just like ceiling.
Oh yeah. Beetlejuice then like kind of knocks the Maitlands out, which they're both like very kind of decrepit, just like
Yeah.
Adam's
frail
jaw's
little.
falling off.
Oh yeah, that's right. He is about to go for Otho. Otho tries to run away. There's like a spotlight on him, and then he like makes his outfit change to this like polyester blue suit, which
Yeah.
to Otho is his
death.
nightmare.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
screams
His
and
death.
runs away.
Delia and Charles, he calls mom and dad. He's then like gets changed. Now Beetlejuice is in his wedding attire, and we see Lydia in her red wedding dress, which you had a reaction when you saw the the red.
I
wedding
said,
dress.
but I don't want to see a wedding between these two.
That was it. I thought
Yeah.
you didn't like the style.
No,
I was
no.
like, I like
Oh my
this
god, they look
dress.
incredible.
Yeah, they look
they do look good.
incredible.
And I think Michael Keaton is such a cutie.
Which is
Even as
crazy,
Beetlejuice.
watching this movie and saying that.
I know. I think he's hot.
What's
even
your
as
other?
Beetlejuice.
Do you have favorite Michael Keaton movies or ones that
I've
come to
only
mind?
seen the stupidest Michael Keaton movies.
Mhm.
So I've seen,
Multiplicity?
Multiplicity,
Which there's so
Mr.
many
Mom,
of them. You must have been drooling.
buffet. The Michael Keaton buffet, baby. All you can eat. Yes, I was repulsed by the idea of the wedding. But I thought their outfits were cute.
Yeah.
And I think I couldn't believe that there was a wedding happening because again, I'm only used to the cartoon where it's very clear that it's just like
They're friends.
Yeah, they're friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's friends
She's
with an
marrying
adult
her
man.
best friend.
Aww.
Yeah. That's beautiful. One of an iconic moment for me is when this like their fireplace changes and kind of goes like a little crooked, and then just a little man like wobbles out with
I
a
feel
giant
like you
head.
like that style of man.
I like that little freaky guy.
Yeah, the kid was like, ooh.
Yeah, that's who I'm attracted to.
Michael Keaton of a little weird
guys.
Tim Burton-y guys.
He's starting the wedding. Beetlejuice, is doing his whole shit.
He's the officiant.
Yes, he's the officiant of the wedding. And everyone around is trying to like say Beetlejuice to have this stop. So first, Adam does it, and Beetlejuice makes Adam's gums come out of his mouth.
His like teeth come out like they're the chattering funny teeth.
Yeah, and then Beetlejuice is like dancing,
tap dancing around them,
which is funny.
Yeah, it was funny.
That's funny.
Barbara
can't deny his
funny. He's funny.
Yeah.
That's why we love him. Barbara, first he does a zipper to her mouth the first time she says Beetlejuice. Then she unzips it, says it again, and then he puts a metal plate on her mouth with like screws all around it. And she's like,
that's scary.
Very scary.
It scared me a lot. Yeah. The officiant, because he's good at his job, asks if there's rings. Beetlejuice looks in his pocket. There's lots of bugs and snakes.
Can't get married without a ring.
Yeah, not even in the afterlife.
Yeah.
Finds his old wife's finger with the
just
ring
a woman's finger with a ring on it,
and gives it.
She meant nothing to me, babe.
Yeah.
Some stupid shit like that.
Dumb.
When the mouth thing happens to Barbara, then he like sends her to the snake world.
Yes.
And Adam
universe.
And then Adam goes
Adam's
into
in
the
the
model. So then Beetlejuice is like fussing, looking for the ring. In the meantime, Adam takes Beetlejuice's little car from his car crash, drives it off the model and hits his foot. And then Barbara comes riding through the roof with the sandworm.
Like rodeo riding the sandworm.
Which was a slight question mark for me. I don't know. You've pitched this as a world that's supposed to be really scary. I don't know how she tamed the sandworm. I would like to have seen it by her being scary enough to tame the sandworm or something.
That could have been a sequel where it's just like 2 years where she's there learning how to become a sand rider, like Dune style.
Make that, but make it more interesting than Dune. Please.
Pretty please. The mouth goes right around Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice is gone. We cut to, and then everyone kind of gets together, like, okay, that's all done. Even the officiant's there. He's just like,
oh, thank God. That's so can I live here now?
Am I still getting paid?
Yeah.
We cut to a beautiful fall day in upper New York, Connecticut.
Yeah.
Lydia is leaving school in her cute little schoolgirl dress. She's like making friends. Adam and Barbara are like waiting at home for her. The house looks the way that it did before. And he like is tinkering with his little models. Oh, she went and got stuff. And when she like comes through the door, she's
photos of like new things in the town, or
so he could make new models of them. So
that's
cute.
really cute.
They're like, how was your math test?
And she's like, stupid.
Yeah.
But I got something good on the other test.
Yeah. And then she got an A. And she's like, so can I? We're not quite sure what it is yet. Some Harry Belafonte comes on again. The chair is rocking. From upstairs, we see Charles. So we know now the whole family is still there living together in harmony. Oh, Lydia must have done good on her test. Delia comes with like a Beetlejuice sculpture right in his face. Yeah. He likes it. And then we cut to back downstairs. Lydia is floating, dancing, having the time of her life. All the football players from Judo's office are
just
there.
For fun.
Just because we're just having fun.
They had them that day.
Yeah.
Like, all right.
Yeah.
Get in there, boys. We cut to then the afterlife. So we see everything is happy and great there. Cut to the afterlife. Beetlejuice is in the waiting room, next to a shrunken head guy, and then a racist caricature.
Yeah.
Not the highlight of the film.
Of a witch doctor.
Yeah,
right.
he has a
Number
very
4.
long, the doctor has a very tiny number. Beetlejuice has a very long one. The number on the screen is a small one. They switch. The doctor like sprinkles some stuff on Beetlejuice's head
And shrinks his head.
yeah, and his voice gets wow, wow. So silliness till the end, and then we just dance with our football players to the credit.
And a movie.
I couldn't believe that was what the movie was.
Yeah, yeah.
What did you think it was gonna be?
I thought it was going to be. I thought we would meet Beetlejuice in like end of Act 1.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Like I thought it was going to be Lydia's having some problem. I had no idea about these Alec Baldwin, Gina Davis characters.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be like Lydia's having problems, and there is some book in her attic, and she reads through it and is like, huh, and it's like, do not summon this person, like whatever, and she's like, and she does,
Yeah.
and he's like 89%, he's like 95% a handful and a menace, and 5% helpful to her.
Yeah.
For the whole movie, and it's them doing that balancing act.
Have you ever seen Drop Dead Fred?
No.
It's like this British comedian. I forget the guy's name, but he is like this woman as an adult. Her imaginary friend from childhood starts reappearing.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what you're describing.
Yes. I think, yeah, I was really expecting Beetlejuice to be in the movie more.
Yeah.
And to be more rambunctious.
He kind of famously so. It's one of those roles where it's like, guess how long this person was in the movie. I think he's
10 minutes.
Somewhere between 10 and 15.
Yeah, and he's the title character and on the like the only person that's on all the posters.
Yeah.
So I still really liked it. It was just like not at all what I thought.
Do you like it like more than you thought you would?
I would have liked less of the like. I would have wanted more of him in it, more of a relationship between how he works and how the couple works, because they're both like the opposite sides of haunting, and I would love them to have had a relationship rather than it's just like he goes back to whatever, the waiting room.
You got to see the sequel, I guess.
So the sequel in 2024, I am shocked there have not been like 3 or 4 more sequels in between.
Yeah. Well, we mentioned earlier, I know there was one, Beetlejuice Goes to Hawaii, that was supposed to be made. I think there was
a shocking next leap for a storyteller to be like, okay, so at the end
it's kind of fun.
Was it going to be the same 2 guys who did the script?
I would have to like look it up again. I just know that's like what was supposed to happen. Then I don't know if Batman stalled that, because then they made all those Batman movies together. I don't remember why it never came to be, but it's one of those like never was.
I mean, I see why he's such an iconic character. I was just so shocked that character, given how little he's in this movie, is like that's the origin.
Yeah. I like that it's used sparingly, because I think if it was like, if he's in it the whole time, it might just get like, or just like, he does kind of remind me of the genie in Aladdin too, where it's like,
he's so manic,
such a big over the top character.
Right. Yeah, it's hard to maintain that energy for.
If you did it the way I said, it would have to be, he would have to have an like an arc. Where he starts out crazy, and then by the end, Lydia grounds him or something, which is not the intention of this movie.
So just ratings on a scale of 1 to 5, both scary and then just like overall film quality. Yeah. What would you say?
Scary, a 0.
Yeah.
But also I'm in my mid-30s, and then
and you're very brave horror movie.
And I'm
really
brave. Yeah. Did you know that I could watch a movie where the CG, I could see the halo of green screen on their hair in those sequences? And then what's the other metric?
Quality.
Just like overall like what would you rate
goodness of the movie?
I would say like a 4. I had a blast.
Yeah.
It was very fun and silly. I would totally watch it again or watch the cartoon again.
Yeah.
I bet the cartoon's streaming.
I bet that would be very fun, like a little Saturday morning cartoon activity.
Yeah.
Because I remember just thinking Lydia was so cool in that show.
Yeah.
I do think that's the one thing that, from my understanding, I just remember being like, Lydia's the coolest character, and she's so cool and fun in this movie too.
And it really like her, that archetype that she is holds up like through like in the 90s, the 2000s. I think there's
just
always
a teenager who feels weird.
And
yeah.
I like that it's not the Wednesday Addams archetype that's like, I hate everything.
Yeah.
She's just like, I'm a little weird.
Yeah.
And like, I'm a little
my family to spend time
weird. With me.
Yeah. I'm ignored.
Yes.
Yeah, but she likes the Maitlands because they're nice. She's like, they're really nice people.
And they're yuppies. Like, in theory, she shouldn't like them, but she just likes someone who's like nice to her and like see her. So I thought that was cute.
Yeah. I would also I'll do a 1.5 for scary, just because not now, but I can just watch it. Remember when I was a kid, how scared I was. Like, I would be like, eyes. When you see his teeth when he's a snake, I was like, I might have to stop. This is too much.
Yeah, it was very
scary. Or like when their bodies come up, like it's so, anything that's really sad and scary at the same time really bothers me too, because I'm very soft.
You're sensitive.
So I'm like, I'm also sad and I'm scared.
Yeah, but they're nice people. Why are
they
they
nice?
Yeah,
exactly.
That was the saddest part for me. That part was really scary. I did not like the graphic of them turning into the.
Did you watch any scary movie as a kid or anything like, or you were just like, I'm avoiding this? 100%.
Well, I didn't know it was scary, but my cousins and I watched it when I was like 8.
Oh, yeah.
The TV, made for TV movie one, the Tim Curry one?
Yes, I think so.
Please, you're scaring us now.
Yeah. Happy, you're the scariest. I'll get it.
That's what it sounded like.
Yeah. Screaming.
That was, that version of it was absolutely horrifying.
Yeah.
Oh, Tim Curry? Yeah,
awful.
That's a great
Why
one.
Did
we should do that.
Make
one.
me watch.
I can't believe you watch. That's a really scary.
That is a really scary one.
So scary. I also saw some scary murder movie called Eye for an Eye. Hated it. I saw like the kids' Halloween movies. I didn't find those scary, like a Hocus Pocus or something like that.
Yeah,
but yeah, really.
Were you a Halloween kid? Did you like it?
I loved Halloween as a kid. I wasn't like collecting figurines of spiders or anything.
Sure.
But I loved Halloween and I love like the treat culture around it. But truly,
treat culture.
I like treat culture.
Do you like a candy?
My favorite candy is Ferrero Rocher, which is hardly a candy and not one person.
That's not mature. That on Halloween.
No,
that's your Fraser salt.
That's my Fraser salt. But my and this is still a Fraser salt or 100 grand. That you're more like it's very rare.
Right.
But you can get 100 grand sometimes at Halloween. And then if we're talking our more standard candies, Twix and Reese's and Snickers.
Kit Kat.
And Kit Kat. Okay, Kat.
Dark chocolate
caramel.
I'm not interested in caramel.
I'm also not
I don't like caramel.
caramel.
So Milky Ways are yes, but
Snickers.
But there's other shit going on. And there's crunchy shit. Like Milky Way, too soft.
Too soft. I agree.
I don't like it. I need a bunch of nuts in there. And I don't want any fruit candies. Dots are the first to go in the like, take it if you want it pile. Trade. Mike and Ike's or Twizzler.
Any like sugary.
Nasty.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
I think I do kind of like Jolly Ranchers once in a while.
Jolly Ranchers used to be okay, but now I'm like, why
I'm
am I
not buying them?
This? Yeah.
I would never buy one.
Yeah. What are your favorites?
One every now and then. I take it.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite candy?
Oh, Kit Kat, dark chocolate. Anything dark chocolate.
It's
I really like.
Oh my god, Mr. Good Bar.
Oh, that's peanutty one, which only kind of you see at Halloween.
Yeah,
and which is always a little
yeah. Yeah. So overall goodness of the movie.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna give it a 5 because I love Tim Burton. I rewatching it, I was like, oh, I love this even more than I remembered, and I'm just his like early works are some of my favorite movies ever, and it makes me so sad when he gets into his CGI years.
Yeah,
how much of that charm is lost. Yeah. But it's not easy to create an aesthetic. It's so easy to be like, oh, he's just doing a Tim Burton thing, but he literally made that and puts it on screen and has a whole crew of people who can like bring it to life. Like it's art. It's magic.
It's incredible.
Yeah, and I think he makes it accessible in a way because you do see how he frames the weirdness in this real world, unexaggerated real world like this, or in Edward Scissorhands or something, where it's like really pastel.
It really makes a logic to this like heightened universe.
Yeah, it's always based on real observations, but then heightened in such an interesting way.
Yeah.
What are your quick ratings?
Yeah, probably 1 because of like residual thinking of it as a kid, especially the thing like imagining something screwed into your face.
Oh yeah,
that's really scary.
Very visceral. Yeah.
Yeah, and then probably also 5 because it is a big nostalgic movie for me. It was just like a huge one we would watch it all the time when we were kids.
Heart. It's just the family, I think, is really sweet.
Very sweet. I love any sort of blended family story. So I love that it's like 2 ghosts and a little freak girl. I think that's incredible.
And a stepmom in the first place.
And a stepmom and a pervert.
And a
real life pervert. A family can be anything.
Yeah.
Family.
Well, on that note, Rekha, thank you so much for being here. Anything you would like to plug or tell the people where they can see you?
Listen, I might have a newsletter by the time this comes out, so sign up for that and just like look on my Instagram, REKHA_us for info. And then catch me at UCB and perform there. I'm doing stuff there.
You're out and about.
All over. If you miss her, it's your fault.
It's your freaking fault. Come on, I'm so findable. Just learn how to spell my name.
Well, thank you so much for coming on our movie date.
Bye.